Okay. Idamek skanatani. Or Idamek sistiko. Good day. It is not the morning anymore. In fact, it's getting on toward evening. There's the sun right there on his way west. We're in the duck moon. What are we? We're Sunday, March 12th, 13th, something like that. And I'm headed down to fetch some rocks. Bit breezy. Might make the video problematic for people. I don't know, I just noticed that I had a bunch of data and I figured going into the wilderness park, might as well go live with it. Just a quick foray. And the live was impromptu, not planned. We'll see what we bump into out here. Very warm day. Phenologically, what's up that I know for sure? The Thatcher ants are out of their hives, and I wanted to stop at a hive and actually try to assess like what's up with them right now, what they're doing. Magpies are building their nests. The one at the top of the road entrance to this park, or the pair at the top of the road, have nearly completed the upper part of their orb-shaped nest and will be making their clay bowl pretty soon. I'm gonna look at that. I know I got a comment, but I'm gonna look at it when I get in the shade here and past the peoples. It's very busy in the park today. Still got that COVID busyness going on in all the Lethbridge parks. Should we cut? Let's cut into the forest. We won't run into people there. And I'll start looking at what I've got going on here for messages. Let's see. Check the messages here. Top chat. Glad to see you online. Hey, Rye. Oh, John Mallory. How's it going, bud? Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't planning to go online, just got out this way and I thought, maybe I should see if I've got data. I do. Just might as well spend it. So this part of the forest here is there's different things going on as I kind of get, oh, look who we got here. Oh, Kevin Thompson from Hamilton, Scotland. Okay, how are you? Right up here we have a porcupine up there in the tree, and I can't hold my camera still very well, it appears. Hold on. Let's see if I just grab it instead of the tripod. There we go. Or it's not a tripod, a selfie stick I'm holding my iPhone in. There's a porcupine up there. We'll go get a bit of a closer look. But though he is pretty far up in the canopy. Hold on. Try to get my camera normalized again. Ooh, ooh. Oh, where'd I go? There we go. Boop. Sorry. Real shitty camera work today. So one of the things I noticed in this forest is this weird cavity here. I think basically this was probably a gravel pit. I haven't looked into it, but it makes sense given what's left down here in terms of the structure. This isn't just regular rain erosion stuff. This is excavation. 9 years since you chatted with me. That's wild. It's crazy. I've been online all that time doing YouTube stuff. All right. This, by the way, is Western Clematis vine, one of our only vines in this area. I think it's kind of related to nightshade, and you can use it to relieve migraine headaches. A certain concoction of it, but you got to be very careful because it closes the capillaries in your brain and you can give yourself an aneurysm. My suggestion is don't play with it. So way up here in the canopy is our porcupine. Eating away or sleeping or whatever he's doing up there. He's kind of still at the moment, probably checking me out, checking him out. See if I can get it back again. For whatever reason, my phone is not registered. Maybe my fingers are, they don't feel cold, but my phone's not registering them. Let's move through the forest a bit. It's very warm. I'm a fan of your jogging videos with Steve Casey music. Yeah, man. I gotta use some more of that Steve Casey music. I know he's got a ton now on his channel. I listened to some of it. I was looking for something. I haven't touched base with that guy for a long time though, so I'm a little timid to use any songs he hasn't already given me permission for, but I like using them. I need to find someone with like Steve that's already like queued into my channel still. That I don't think he follows me much anymore. Someone like him that I can get music off of. Sometimes there's owls nested in this forest area. Yeah, I plan to get back to jogging. Right now I'm nurturing broken toes. And last summer I had bad injuries in my calves. I tore a couple of muscles in one calf and ripped a tendon such that it like shrank up behind the muscles and they can't even reattach it. And then when that kind of healed up, then my other calf was way tighter than that calf, and so it had a muscle tear. Yeah, the toes are doing okay. That was a different kind of injury. I didn't injure those running. I injured those doing jiu-jitsu, rolling around with Chelsea. I just rolled over them the wrong way. I've heard some flickers. I didn't point it out. There's starlings in the trees right now that you might hear in the background. Oh, there's a flicker out there. That kee sound in the background too. Hear it? So I expect a lot more flicker activity to pick up here in two ways. Oh, that's that other song. I was just going to mention there's another song that we'll hear them singing probably, which is when the males are kind of jousting. Singing it now. See if we can find this flicker who's singing the jousting song. See if there's any other males in the area that are going to take him up. very leaf noisy out here. See if he picks back up. Am I just freaked out? The flicker and several other animals in the area were stomping through. All right. Moving on. See if the flicker picks back up. We might find some shed antlers today. It's that time of year too, where the deer bucks have shed their antlers, and so it's something worth finding if you got something to do with it. Keep the camera up here. They really discourage in nature parks and such. They discourage the collection of antlers, shed antlers, because a lot of the smallest mammals of the forest, the rodents and such, have to use them for nutrition, for key nutrition. Watch out for the old serpent. Yeah, it's not yet time for the snakes. Oh, there goes some whitetails. Back that away. Where'd he go? See if we can catch up. Oh. Dang it. This is the deer blind. Not surprisingly, there's a deer. Let's go in the blind. Put my things down here. You can look. Can you see that there are two deer there? There's one. Oh, do you hear that? Chorus frog is up. Chorus frog. Yeah, there's two white-tailed deer right in that brush. Grazing away, yeah. The starlings around me are mimicking a lot of different sounds, including red-tailed hawks, Swenson's hawks. But I think that chorus frog was legit there for a minute. I've never heard a starling do the sound of a chorus frog like that. All right, let's trudge on. I only got so much battery on my phone, so we better use it sparingly. No sign of owls. There's another one watching. Oh. I'm just looking back. You're really checking me out. This is really the most mature stand of cottonwoods in the Wilderness Park. Nice place to take a toke, indeed. Love to see the beautiful prairie evening. Thank you. Yeah, we're getting there. Sun's on its way down. Should make for nice lighting through this little tour. Back on the manicured path over here. Been seeing some honeybees, scouts coming out yesterday and today. First plants that are going to flower and attract those honeybees is going to be the bullberries. Saskatoons will be pretty close behind. I don't know what the heck that sound is. Oh, it's a helicopter. Yeah, I don't see those around here very often. Unless it's just straight life support. I grew up as a kid. We had military helicopters flying overhead all day long. United States. Not up here. The sight of a helicopter and the sound of it is so rare. I'm like, what's going on? Did somebody start up a, who knows what kind of crazy generator up there on that hill? What's going on? Old cougar. Which one? Yeah, this was an area where a couple of years ago there was a cougar sighting, legit. And I had come down here and positioned some camera traps, hoping maybe to sight the cougar. But all I got was coyotes. It's a good coyote population down here. I am en route for rocks. This is all Saskatoon and chokecherry brush in here. Lots of good berries. think this particular savanna type landscape here was created by you know, the recent history of excavation that went on here. But I still think it looks nice. There is natural savanna type occurrences on these prairie flats. Or I don't know, maybe it's always been us. Because the next one I can think of that's really like this is down by the old Fort Whoop-Up, like the original Fort Whoop-Up. Obviously that was a high traffic area. But my late friend Narcissus, he came down to this park with me one time. We had a student who was studying. He was taking the course with us, and as part of one of the courses he was taking, he was down here paying attention to the nature, the ecology and such. And so we went on a walk with him down here, and Narcissus had a name for this kind of savanna in Blackfoot, like this kind of grassland down in the river bottom. But of course, I didn't bother, you know, taking note at that time. And I've asked some people since and haven't come up with a response that I felt was adequate. I got to get a no jiggle. A no jiggle selfie stick, don't I? It's ridiculous. Look at this tree. Toppled by recent erosion. Looks like the river is coming up. It's high, a little bit high. Oh, into the thaw, right? I was in the mountains yesterday and this morning. There'll be video going up. Chelsea and I made another trip out to Waterton, stayed at the Waterton Lodge, did a hike yesterday evening to Cameron Lake, and then this morning we were going to do the hike to Bertha Lake, the complete round, but the road was closed, and that whole area was closed due to avalanche risk. And then we thought, okay, Red Rock Canyon, we'll go up that way. Nope. Close it. Avalanche risk. So everything's thawing, and it's a good time to be out there gathering roots. I should actually make a video about that. Oh, look, we got some deer on our savanna here. Well, yeah, it's good hunting, but this is a nature park inside the city limits, so we're not yet allowed to hunt here. Although Lethbridge has plenty of deer, urban deer, and deer, you know, in the parks here and such. I think we should institute something like in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, where bow hunting is allowed within city limits, where it's, you know, where the risks of any accidental human injury are minimal, you know. That would be cool, but we're not there yet. just about to the river. Well, we're at the river, but just about to where I'm going to step off on the riverbank and find my rocks. Hey, from Boston. I spent some time in Boston. I lived in, well, Brookline, and then, what is that other subdivision right up against Brookline? I forget what it's called, but I always kind of associate myself with Brookline because that's where I worked. I worked at Audio Studio on that main drag through the Orthodox Jewish community. I was right across, like kitty corner from Koopel's Bagels. Hey, down the street from Rami's. Chestnut Hill. No, there's another one. There's another just little place like is right up against Brookline. It's like the next one up the road there. I forget what they called it. But anyway, I just lived in one of them brownstone apartments. No, I'm not Cherokee. I am genetically human being. For reals, but you know, I know what you're asking. So West Roxbury, no, it was another, it was something like, wasn't Brighton, but something like, shit, wish I could remember. No, I'm mostly Irish, Scottish, Armstrong clan, and then I've also got Rayco and another kind of German Jew background, genetic background, and I've got some English in me, which is the last name Hancock, and I've got some Blackfoot because there were some Piikani women that married with some of, oh, I didn't even say the French yet. The French, I've got French Larue and Courtois, and there were some Piikani women that married Curtis guy, hey? And supposedly LaRue, but I've got a picture of that grandma. She don't look like no Piikani half-breed even, so I doubt the validity of that story for sure. But yeah, somewhere in there was this mythological Blackfoot grandmother, which is what ended up bringing me out here in one sense, hey? I had a identity crisis when I was in the U.S. military, and at that point really decided to pursue, like, looking into what being Blackfoot is about. But even before that, I had a pretty keen interest in native stuff, but it just didn't accelerate until I realized that I was a stormtrooper, and I didn't want that identity anymore. I'm gonna flip the camera around here for a minute. You can look at my ugly mug. It's a prep here. Got my little bag, and I'm gonna start looking for my black rocks. Down my little bag. This is my little bag that I put my rocks in. I go to the Blue Hills. I'm hoping maybe to see a timber rattlesnake. Yes. I used to visit the Blue Hills in pursuit of the same thing, and was never successful. Although I did find a lot of good, what's it called? There's kind of a fern-looking plant there. And it's an awesome tea. I wish I could remember the name of that fern plant. But yeah, there's a really good tea up there. There's some rare flowers in the Blue Hills. I certainly came across a lot of different amphibians and stuff, but the rattlesnakes that I was after, I never did bump into. Why are you looking for black rocks? This is what I'm looking for. My dad tells me it's basalt. But I got a thing with these rocks. Hey, used to use them for sweats, and should I have another sweat, I would most certainly use them again. And but I like collecting these little black rocks here at the river bottom. I like the nice ones. Hey, they got to be smooth all around. None of this chipped. It's hard to chip these, actually, which is why they're used, why I like to use them in the sweats. They don't explode on you like a lot of rocks. And you shouldn't collect sweat rocks down here at the river anyway. But just saying, I collect these rocks. I take a bunch of these little rocks, and then I deposit them here and there in places that I frequent and that are of significance to me. It has become a kind of a marking my places ritual. Hold on, let's set this bad part way because it's getting too heavy to just dangle open with the rocks. Guy filmed a den in the Blue Hills that he found. Took a long time to find that timber rattlesnake den. Yeah, I'm sure if you know the right people, they'll bring you right to those dens, but there's this population up there is, you know, such a tight little population that I'm also sure that information is guarded. There's no doubt several people like yourself at any given moment that are interested in getting to know those snakes. And that's kind of how it, you know, how it is here in Lethbridge too. There's always people asking me, you know, if I could introduce them to the snake dens and this kind of thing, that have sincere interests. And rarely, if ever, do I do that, because it's just ends up being another person visiting those dens every year. And the paths to and from those dens become more defined, which brings more predators and people, and it's problematic. However, I do encourage you going out and like doing the footwork to bump into those dens, because then it's yours, hey? And you become familiar with the place at the same time. You know, there's something to like really getting to know a place, like all the nooks and crannies, eh? Such that you do know where the snake dens are and where the beehives and the hornets' nests and all that jazz. You know where different things are nested. Like, that's the kind of intimate ecological knowledge I enjoy grooming in myself in my visit to these places. Yes, he's not giving away the location, but I think they're on the eastern side of the reservation near Braintree. And yeah, very possibly. Hey. Yeah, for sure. Check him out, dude. I spent some time trying, but I didn't make a serious effort. You know, I would go out and basically, if I had a couple of days on my hands, I would take the train out that way, take the T out that way, and then jump off. I'd have to like scramble across the highway on foot, you know, with all those, it was like Frogger, you know, to get myself into the hills from that angle from the train stop. And then but then once I was in there, I'd stay a couple of days. Hey, I'd just sleep, you know, I'd just bring a hammock and a sleeping bag, and I'd sleep in there, spend a couple of days, go back. Always looking for the snakes, never finding them. I had some cool experiences having foxes and stuff bark at me all night, circling, well, not all night, but for a good, like, probably an hour one time I had a fox bark at me and make a circle around me. I don't know if I was on this big rock. It might have been his den was under that rock or something, who knows. But it was pitch black and I wasn't about to go wandering off as I have wild dogs barking at me. Stay in my ground, and he eventually left. Haven't seen any eagles yet today. A little bit surprised by that, although they've been doing their mating thing, so they might have, all the couples might be squared off at their nesting sites right now. I bet that's what's up. Gee, this this shoreline is getting picked over. Black rocks. I have utilized it once or twice. Fortunately, the river continues in both directions. Still wonder what made you depart from Freddie Lee. Oh, well, I was pushed out. I want to go back to the Freddie Lee days. That is, there was something that came up. What came up? Oh, Chelsea was asking me the other day if I ever ate chicken feet. And I had a story about eating chicken feet, but it came from a visit that I had in Chicago with Freddie Lee. So, but yeah, I was pushed out of Freddie's Modern Kung Fu because I was willing to do grappling, ground grappling, which he considered too gay. Little does he know, you know, or I mean, he does know, but he just doesn't want to deal with it. Like his solution is a gun, all right? It's a handgun. And there's, you know, that's because of his wannabe, well, not wannabe, he was a cop for a little bit, you know. He really wanted to be a cop when he grew up, and it didn't work out for him, but martial arts was kind of working out for him, and he just, you know, he looked the part so well that he's made, I think grappling has a lot to do with defense. Oh yeah, it has a ton to do with defense. Freddie reminded me of like a G.I. Joe version of what a martial artist is, eh? He was a 1980s style martial artist, you know, and a Bruce Lee fan and all that kind of stuff. So, but ultimately, you know, why we parted was I got pushed out. Thank you. Yeah, really nice scenery here in Canada. The river is just beautiful right now, and the weather is beautiful too. It's quite something. I'm gonna put the camera down here so I can zip up my bag. I'm gonna, well, I might scout around real quick for another few rocks. The flies are at my drink. There be flies out. But yeah, Freddie pushed me out. Freddie said our artistic differences have become, you know, too great, and he didn't want that gay grappling stuff represented on his channel. And I proceeded to open up a Gracie garage, a jiu-jitsu training facility at my house, which I may be getting back. That's big news too, that I'm gonna share in my video that I took on my way to the mountains yesterday. But it may be that I am going to be getting my house and my training facility back in the future. Not the super near future, but near enough. Maybe a couple of years out. I'm negotiating with Mahoney. Yeah, some of my training videos were really good. I am currently out of shape. See, I don't know if you can tell, but I've got a little belly. I can still knock out 50 push-ups, but I'm not in the shape I want to be in, that's for sure. Chelsea and I both. Part of we've been throwing ourselves up there doing some grappling for the handful of perverts that have kept my channel going all winter, but we've also, like, for us showing ourselves like that, it's also like good motivation to try to get our bodies in better shape, because it's quite embarrassing being as roly as we are at the moment. Yeah, many people need to get back in shape. It's just a lifestyle thing, hey? You're either doing it or you're not, and I haven't been doing it. Now, some of that, of course, like I've been wanting to get back in, and my break hasn't been too long, but I had trauma from my breakup with Mahoney that kept me from training for a little bit, and then I started having injuries. So I had my eye, went blind in one eye, but it was a very painful process at first. And then I had my legs go screwed up, so I tore calf muscles. You know, we talked about this in both legs, and tendon in one of them, and that tendon won't reattach, but it seems to be, I'm fine without it. They said it either went up in your arm, and we're not going to be able to reattach, or up in your leg and we're not going to be able to reattach it, or you were born without one. But I looked into being born without one, and the chances are super slim. So it appears that how did I get down here? Yeah, it appears that I detached that tendon, but they're unable to find it on the various scans that they have attempted. The doctors, the medical system of Alberta. Whoa. Big steps. All right, got my rocks. We're going 44 minutes, and I didn't have a huge amount of battery to begin with, but I guess we'll continue as long as the battery's there. Go down the trail and make the whole loop. I'm gonna mess with the selfie stick. Put down the heavy rock bag to do it. Freddy's Modern Kung Fu. Those funny times. Yeah, I'm attracted to craziness a little bit. Let's go through the savannah. I'm not going to find any shed antlers. Just hanging out on the trail. Yeah, the mountains were really nice. Last couple days have been super warm in southern Alberta, 13, 14, 15 degrees above zero. Everybody's itching to get their garden started. How did I meet Chelsea? Oh, that's a good story to tell, if you're wondering about that. So you'll be working with the rattlesnakes again. Yes, I will. Yeah, they're gonna be out quick. All right, how did Ryan meet Chelsea? So, basically I met her the first time I noticed her. Let's go there. Oh, check it out. Just gonna crouch down here. See what happens from here. There's a deer over here. Bugging the deer of the savannah. Oh, doesn't matter. She's gonna. Whoop. How do I get through? When I try to do things with my finger to change the magnitude of the lens, it often gets messed up. How did I meet Chelsea? First time I noticed Chelsea, and I don't know if I've ever run into her before that. First time I noticed her, let's see if I can turn my camera around here. Boom. There we go. I was at my brother-in-law's wedding. This was several years ago. Must have been 12, 13 years ago. It's been a while, hey? Been a long while. Anyway, I was at my brother-in-law's wedding, and you know, there's certain ceremonies that were kept in the Blackfoot tradition. All this, the stuff around the core bundles, really important stuff was kept. But where the church kind of took over things was in unions between families, like marriages, and the church took over funerals, and kind of coming of age ceremonies that might have occurred for women and young men don't occur so much anymore. There's still people that do it, some of it, but maybe not like they used to be. Anyway, so my brother-in-law was getting married and wanted something more traditional than the typical wedding that goes on up here. So we put up a teepee, and yeah, he had to have a representative from the province there to sign off on it and do all that stuff. But he basically had his parents run the ceremony, and they did a little thing with him and his wife to be, who he had met online, and she was from Nebraska, Napiaki, a white girl, and but he went down there, snagged her up, brought her up here, did this little wedding. And as part of the wedding, they thought, well, we're going to go around, we're just kind of inventing, like, let's do something different, right? So he said, let's go around and have everybody give the new couple some advice. Hey, what's your advice, or what do you have to say to the new couple? And so they went around, and everybody had their little thing to say, when you're married, you should be like this and do this, and all this kind of stuff. It's almost choking me up to talk about. So, amidst that wedding attendance group, was this young girl who was with Miles, and Miles is Mahoney's cousin brother, Miles Brucehead. He was Narcissus' stepson. Hey, my late best friend Narcissus split. So, amidst that group was Chelsea, who was with Miles, and they weren't, they weren't married or anything yet. They were in high school, or maybe he was just out of high school and she was in. I can't remember, but she's young, hey, and she was watching all this wedding stuff go on, and when it when it came her turn to talk, she just talked about how beautiful she thought it all was, how she can't wait for something like that to happen in her life. And it was it made an impression on me, hey. But what was interesting was, like, she ended up getting kind of afterward, later on, slammed for this. Marty, my brother-in-law, my ex-brother-in-law, he thought that what she had to say kind of ruined the whole session, like the whole experience that we were having there with the advisory and stuff, that she'd wrecked it, somehow like ruined his wedding. And him and Miles actually got in a physical fight over this, with Miles kind of protecting Chelsea, because Marty had this shitty thing to say about her participation in that, and what she contributed. But to me, it made its impression, and I always kind of looked at her after that, although she was with Miles, so completely off limits, and I respected that. They eventually broke up at a time. Well, other things happened. Like, it's interesting because Mahoney at one point did get pregnant by me, even though she wasn't, like, we weren't supposed to be getting pregnant. And all of the time that we'd been together, somehow I never got her pregnant, even though we didn't practice any safe sex, and we practiced a lot of sex. But somehow she never got pregnant. And then one time she did. We were in Scotland, and she got pregnant, but it was way up in the fallopian tubes, hey? And so they had to take it out. They had to remove the pregnancy, and they ended up, while they were up there, she just had her tubes snipped so that she wouldn't get pregnant again, because with her arthritis and her RA condition, it would have just been terrible. But at the same time that she was in the hospital for that, and we were going through that, Chelsea had a miscarriage that was a fair way into her pregnancy, one of her first pregnancies. And so there was kind of a simultaneous experience that we had, her and Miles, Chelsea and Miles, and me and Mahoney, with these lost children. I'm gonna turn the camera away in case I cry. No, it does get my tears, my lump in my throat going, even thinking about a lot of things that have to do with that era, but certainly, like, stuff like that, hey? So anyway, and then when I remember when Mahoney and I first, when we bought our house, we had some help, hey? We had one of my friends gave us like $5,000 to help Mahoney get her credit cards down and get her credit score where she needed to be. And then my dad chipped in, like, really saved our ass on the down payment stuff. Oh, I'm running low battery, so we're going to end this pretty quick. I'm down to 20%. So, any case, I remember saying to Mahoney, like, once we had our house, I was like, okay, we need to pay it forward, kind of a thing. Why don't we help Miles and Chelsea get a house, like get their down payment in order, help them save something up. So I was kind of, even then, you know, I was, even though Miles was my friend, I was kind of looking out for a hello from Fife, Scotland. Right on. I don't know if I've ever been to Fife. If so, if it's only by passing through of train. Anyway, Chelsea and Miles, you know, eventually had children, and 3 of them. And then right when she had her 3rd child, Reed, then Miles left her. And they were broken up about 3 years before Chelsea and I got together. And kind of our only, well, what precipitated us getting together, I guess, was her coming on a hike with me to Chief Mountain. We spent a couple days together. And then in that time, I did kind of like flirt with her a bit, but she wasn't interested, or you know, she chased me off. But then she was interested in learning martial arts. Hey, another guy from Boston. You should look back at our earlier talk of Boston in this video. This video is almost over because I'm running out of battery. Could die at any minute, I don't know. Any case, she wanted to train martial arts because she's had a bad experience trying to put herself out there as a single woman, and a terrible experience that she didn't want to repeat, and she wanted to feel confident that she could do something in that kind of situation. So she started training grappling with me, and you know, I already liked her, and through that, you know, she got to like me, even though she says she liked me before. I never got any sense of it. Of course, I don't know if I ever showed her any sense that I liked her either. It's just the social situation wasn't appropriate. Wasn't exactly appropriate when we got together either, but it was less problematic. Any case, that is the story. How Ryan met Chelsea. All right, so I'm gonna head across the grasslands here and out. Thanks for those that tuned in. Shut off so I save maybe 10% of my battery for the drive home. And it's been fun on the impromptu live rock gathering video. Check you all later. Gotta set down here so I can shut down. Thanks for